Thank you so much for the recitation, and it's a pleasure to welcome Sister Masuma again. Thank you for coming. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Inshallah you're well.
Alhamdulillah, thank you.
So we have a question today, and quite sad. So, dear Masuma, I lost my husband to cancer. He was my best friend. More than ever, I feel the closest I've ever been to Allah, but lately I found myself praying for death. I'm hoping that's not sinful, as I would never take my own life, but I just feel that I realise that I'd rather let this temporary life be over sooner because I miss my husband. Words of wisdom would be much appreciated, and God bless you for your efforts. I absolutely love your segments. That's really okay.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I think first and foremost, our heart goes out to this sister, and our du'as are with her.
And definitely, if there's anybody, sister, you're listening, that please don't hesitate to contact the team if there's anything we can do to assist you. And inshallah, Sister Masuma will try to help resolve this. It's her dilemma.
I think there's a few things that we can look at here. First and foremost, I think she says he was my best friend. I think she's so lucky that she found a husband who she can actually say was my best friend. That's amazing.
Yeah.
There are very few people who can actually say that. So that gratitude towards and thanking Allah is really, really important, to realize the positiveness of what she had, and to realize that God gave her something that she required in her life. And when He decided to take him away, He didn't abandon her, and He gave her the strength and the sabr to be able to be okay with that.
And it sounds like His comfort. She said, I feel closest to Allah. So His comfort is there.
Yeah, so she feels that connection with Allah, which is amazing. A lot of times I think people get upset and angry at God, whereas she doesn't seem to, which is beautiful. I think that's really, really important. I think obviously she's missing him, which is normal. But she's got to realize that, I think about, and I'm sure she knows this, but it's just thinking about the whole purpose of life and death and what it's all there for. If we imagine the earth to be the womb for the soul, we just like the mother's womb is there for the fetus, and the fetus grows in there for 9 months. Once it's grown to a certain level, it can no longer grow in there, and then it has to come out of the womb. In the same way, we're on the earth for our soul to grow, and it will, as long as we continually keep growing, we will stay on this earth until we get to a stage where the earth can no longer then help us with our growth, and then God takes us away. So, realizing that her husband's journey was over, and he's moved on to the next stage of his journey, and she still, is because she's still on this earth and she's still growing, and there is still potential for her to grow, and to continue that growth, and not to sort of give up on life, because if she gives up on life, then that growth won't happen.
But I think while his physical presence is obviously lacking, she's grieving him. Something that I found myself when my mother passed away was obviously the lack, the absence in my life of her love, of her presence. So, and then I turned that into, well, what could I do for her soul that will benefit her? And you can still feel the closeness, you can benefit, because that, like you said, he's gone on to his next part of his journey. And there we still are in need of the good deeds that we left. And if we haven't done them, we've done them for whatever we did, there's still people we have, we're blessed to have, can continue that. So perhaps that's something that she could.
So again, so looking at, like I was saying, for her growth, but also, his growth as well, which is what you mentioned. And I think it's important to realize that, he can't help himself anymore. So, the fact that he was there for her, the fact that he gave her so much, the fact that they had an amazing relationship, then she can give him back by continuing with the journey that they both started. And obviously they, the fact that she's feeling connected to Allah means that they must have connected together towards Allah. And if she continues with that journey, and she continues doing things which will not only help her grow but help him grow as well, in his realm, which will be amazing for both of them.
Absolutely.
So I think realizing that there's a purpose for her to continue. I think what I'm getting from what she's written is that she doesn't see the point of continuing, and she needs to get that purpose back. And the purpose is actually for not only her growth, but for him as well.
Yeah.
She needs to do it for both of them.
Do you think support mechanisms, how could she reach out perhaps to sort of get through this initial grief that, you know, has obviously overcome her, that she's getting to the point that she doesn't want to live anymore?
Yeah, so you know, the way that she's written it, she says that she feels, you know, she feels closest to than she has ever to Allah. And then she talks about the fact that, you know, she's praying for her death. So in the same sentence, it's like she feels closest to Allah, but then she's praying for her death because she's missing him so much. And it may be because she's scared that if she tells others that she wants to die because she's missing him so much, they may make a judgment that she doesn't have faith. Because a lot of the times people make judgments on what you're saying. So, you know,
I mean, when death happens, people often, the dua they give is, may Allah give you patience. And they'll say, well, she doesn't have patience.
Yeah,
She's
again, I think we need to change the way we say that. Just because you brought it up, just on a side note, I think it's really important. You know, we tell people who've just lost someone, may Allah give you patience. Allah already gave them patience before He took their loved one away. So it would be much more powerful for us to actually tell them, may you use the patience that Allah has given you, or hold on to the patience that Allah has given you. Because I think that's much more powerful, because when you're told, may Allah give you, you're waiting for this patience to come from somewhere and you don't feel like you have it. Whereas if you're told you've already got it, just hold on to it, use it. It gives you a little bit more strength, I feel.
Definitely.
So yeah, I think a lot of the times, you know, she may feel that people are judging. A lot of the times I think when it's been a while, people expect you to get over it.
Yes.
And, you know, if you're talking about it again, it's like, why haven't you got over it? What's wrong with you? He's been gone. But, you know, if he's been a major part of my life for 20, 30, 40 years, I'm not going to get over it within a year or two.
And everyone's grief is different, isn't it? It could take a couple of years for some people. It doesn't.
And I think she needs to tell her family members, her friends, you know, her close, the people who are close to her, how she feels. And I think, you know, and actually if she feels that she's being judged, to tell them that, you know, please don't judge me. This is how I feel, and I'm just letting you know how I feel. And I think, you know, family members, community need to make more of an effort. A lot of the times when someone passes away, we're there for them initially, and that's brilliant. But then we go back to our lives and they're left, and they're left with this huge
And that's the harder
gap.
time, isn't it? The post sort of recovery time, where it's like...
Yeah, because then it's like you have to now literally build a new life, because it's like you can't continue with the same life, because it's
changed.
So it's really important for us to be there for others, and for her to actually ask for help as well. We're social creatures, we can't live isolated. It's, you know, we're not created to live isolated, so it's really important for us to do that, and also for her to continue building this relationship with Allah, maybe talking to Allah, telling Allah how she feels, you know, asking Allah to sort of, you know, take care of him and help him on his journey, and help her. So, and, you know, she, just to finish off with the fact that she talks about praying for death, and she hopes that that's not sinful. It's not sinful to pray for death, but again, I think it's beautiful how Imam Sajjad al-Islam, you know, the dua that he used to do was, Ya Allah, give me life as long as it's in your service. The moment that it becomes the grazing ground of shaitan, then take me away.
Definitely.
Yeah. So again, sort of maybe changing her dua slightly, sort of, as long as I'm growing, as long as I'm in your servitude, then let me continue to live, because I'm serving a purpose. You know, and only take me when I'm ready, when you know I've reached the highest I can reach, when you know that I've served my purpose on this world, then take me. I think a lot of the times when we do dua, we make that thing the end, the goal. So, you know, if she's praying for death, she's made death the goal, not Allah. If I'm praying for children, I've made children my goal. You know, I've cut my dua. I need to make sure God is always my end. So Ya Allah, you know, let me die if it brings me closer to you. Ya Allah, let me have children that will bring me closer to you. Ya Allah, let me have children that I can then bring up as Muslims, as Shias. You know, so it's ensuring that my dua doesn't cut, and I constantly make sure that the end is always Allah. So if she feels the need to pray for death, then pray in a way that makes it a complete dua. Ya Allah, give me death when I have fulfilled my rights that are on me. Ya Allah, you know, let me die when I have, I don't know, served you in the way that I was meant to serve you. So it's not about dying in order to meet him again. It's about
reaching her potential. I think
exactly.
What you're saying is actually very, in the beginning you said that, you know, she was blessed to have him as a best friend. And often when the test comes, it's in the thing that will be difficult for us. It's not meant to be, a test is not meant to be easy. So the fact that she had such a beautiful relationship, and then now this is her time to show Allah that actually I'm really grateful, exactly how you said that, grateful for that relationship that you blessed me with, and now it's going to be that because I am grateful with your blessings, and when they're taken away in our perspective, then it's really showing her faith, isn't it? That Allah
also,
actually I trust in your judgments.
For sure. And it's also, I think also God gives you what you need when you need it.
Yes.
So at that time maybe she needed him to be there, and now she's strong enough to do it without him.
Yeah.
So it's refocusing her attention and her love to Allah rather than to her husband. The love of her husband should be as an extension to the love of Allah.
Definitely.
So it's again refocusing it. So initially maybe she needed her husband in order to get close to Allah, and now it's like, okay, now God wants you to do it on your own and just have that relationship with him. And I think that's beautiful.
And you know, some people, like they say, you know, it's better to have loved and lost rather than never have loved. And if you have a husband that gave you so much comfort, you had, you know, equally you had that relationship, and that he unfortunately passed away. But you know, it's a beautiful thing to have gone through, because there's people that go through a lifetime and never experience that. And you know, this is such a blessing. And you know, while we could see this, and you know, from her perspective, she says it was short-lived, or however many years he lived, but it was, at least it came to you, and and that's such a massive sort of.
And it doesn't have to end with death.
No,
you can continue that relationship by helping him and helping yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Inshallah, she finds, you know, like you're saying, the patience that Allah has given her, she benefits from that, and continues in her journey. But it's a difficult path, isn't it? It's just final point for you, I don't know if you want to make any, that, you know, we don't know if they've got children, or, you know, it's very difficult in those circumstances to sort of look for that light when there's so much other going on, and you know, your heart's yearning for this person. So it's understandably acknowledged it's a difficult path.
Oh no, of course, it is very, very difficult. And like you said, you know, tests aren't meant to be easy.
No.
Growth doesn't happen when it's easy. You know, you have to come out of your comfort zone. You have to go through difficulty in order to grow. You know, if you look back at your own life, you are the person you are because of the difficulties that you went through life. Otherwise, you wouldn't be.
No.
So it's again, but realizing that God only gives you what you can cope with, what you can manage. So you know you have the tools to be able to be okay with this situation, and not only be okay, but actually grow closer to Allah through this situation.
Definitely. And I hope the sister is blessed to have a friend like yourself, where she has those words of comfort, and you know, inshallah, it really does help somebody, doesn't it, to be that support for them. So inshallah, she has that mechanism and network around her. And thank you so much. And definitely be in our prayers as well. Thank you so much. Inshallah, we'll see you soon. That's all for now. And next up, we have Mini Husseinis.